I hope I won't have issue again today, but let's see how it goes. You're welcome to another edition of the Import Destiny Platform, Facebook Live from 3 to Street Academy, and my name is Dele Ayemibo. We'll continue our conversation on AFCFTA, the what, the why, and how to export to Nigeria. And today we are actually analyzing the Nigerian market. We are analyzing the Nigerian market to check the viability of the Nigerian market. No doubt there is population in Nigeria that can be explored for business opportunity, no doubt about that. But sometimes also we should not deceive ourselves thinking that, okay, because there is population, there is market. Which kind of market do we even have? Who are those that are buying? According to the World Bank, there are almost 200 million citizens in Nigeria, and this should mean a thriving market for consumer products. However, even established companies like P&G.
This is to inform members of the public and passengers awaiting the arrival of Asma Land Park ZQ2331 from Abuja that this flight is now estimated to arrive at Kano Airport at 41 minutes after 6 p.m. local time. 41 minutes after 6 p.m. local time is now the estimated time of arrival of Asma Land Park.
Sorry for the break in transmission, I'm at the airport, so alright, okay. There's an announcement going on, so I need to continue.
ZQ2331 from Abuja is now estimated to arrive at International Airport at 41 minutes after 6 p.m. local time.
Sorry for the break in transmission. I'm just thinking it's important for me to start this series tonight. And then continue it over the weekend or next week, as the case may be. So I started by saying that according to, let me just put it by the side. Okay, according to the World Bank, almost 200 million citizens in Nigeria, and this should mean a thriving market for consumer products. However, even established companies like P&G, PZ, and with all their multi-million-dollar market research team, focus groups, and dedicated global experience, seems to have misunderstood the Nigerian market. This was a report of someone about the Nigerian market. I'm basically saying that anyone trying to come into Nigeria, don't assume because there is population, then there is market. I don't think that is true. I don't think that is true. So, depending on the nature of the item you are trying to bring into Nigerian market, be rest assured that you do your research very well. Be rest assured that you do your research very well. Be rest assured that you do your research very well. And the reason for this is because the fact that everybody is saying, oh, there is a population in Nigeria. Of course, there is a population in Nigeria. But please note, the population in Nigeria does not necessarily translate into market. I can say that for a fact. Because of the current situation and challenges in Nigeria, anyone coming to Nigeria needs to be careful the kind of product is bringing into Nigeria. Why? Don't assume that because there is population, there will be market. The population does not always translate into market. You know, people have said every law and theory of economics have been defied in Nigeria. That based on some laws and theory in economics, there are some things you expect to see in an economy, but sometimes for one reason or the other, you just see them in Nigeria. And I think that's the situation really, and that's true in this case. Sorry. So, and I think that's true in this case, and I'm saying that very clearly for anybody trying to get products into Nigeria, you need to check it very well, both for the local, that's Nigerians, and for the Africans and other part of the world. If you have Nigerian market in mind, don't assume, don't rely on data and statistics just online. Do some groundwork. one of the ways you can check out the market in Nigeria is to check how your competitors or will-be competitors are doing, because that gives you an insight into what is really going on. The product you are bringing in, who are those likely going to be competing with you directly or indirectly, and how are they doing? If you research your competition well enough, you might be able to take an informed decision as far as the Nigerian market is concerned. But please don't assume that because there is population, there is market. It does not always follow. It does not always follow. According to the research work in Nigerian market, the number one concern from the average Nigerian consumer is price. Whatever you are trying to sell in Nigeria, the number one concern you should have, the number one thing you should have in mind in terms of strategy, how much does what you are selling cost? The number one concern is price. The number one concern is price. If what you are selling is not a necessity for survival in life, you need to be careful with price. Identify the target market and check it very well. Does this product apply to everyone? If it's for everyone, you must be careful with your price. If it is not for everyone, maybe you might be able to now work around pricing based on the market you are targeting. But it is extremely, extremely, extremely important for anyone trying to get into Nigerian market to know that research have shown time and again that Nigerians are very keen on price. According to the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, 98% of Nigeria have less than 500,000 in their account. 98% of Nigerians. Let me tell you what that means. Let me tell you what that means. Sorry for the break in transmission. So I was basically saying that you need to be extremely, extremely careful in trying to assess Nigerian market. There's market, no doubt, but you need to now check who are you targeting in Nigeria. Is it the masses? The masses, general populace, are very price sensitive. Why? Because the per capita income is low, the majority are poor, so anything you want to sell, if it's targeting the populace, will be very challenging if the pricing is not right. So the question is, check out the market very well. Check out the market very well. And look at who are those competing with you. What price are they selling their product? Who are those competing with you? What price are they selling their product? This is so critical and so important. It's critical and important because the price they are selling their product gives you an insight of the price that is possible, of the price that is available, so acceptable in the market. If your price is way off the roof, if your price is not in tandem with the reality of the market, I am sorry, you might not be able to get someone to buy the product. If you want to target the upper class, just target the upper class. If you want to target the middle class, just target the middle class. If you want to target the lower class, just target the middle class. If what you're selling is cutting across different strata of people, then you might be disappointed if the price you are selling it is way off, especially if it's below the, as in the lower rank of the ladder. So if 98% of people that have accounts in the bank have less than 500k in their account, that is extremely critical. That is extremely critical. That is extremely critical. That is extremely critical because the population you are targeting might not have as much money as you thought. What this is saying is that if 100,000 Nigerians have accounts, and they're not up to 100,000, just 2 million people have more than 500,000 in their account. Anything you are selling in Nigeria to an average Nigerian is competing with food. Anything you want to sell to an average Nigerian is competing with food. Anything you want to sell to an average Nigerian is competing with food. What does that mean? That means that if the pricing is not right, if the pricing is not good enough, the people will rather buy food and survive than buying your product. The people will rather buy food and survive than buy your product. Remember, whatever you are selling in Nigeria is competing with food. Whatever you are selling in Nigeria is competing with food. Now, research also showed that on the average, nearly 60% of Nigerians' income is spent on food. But this average is spread across all segments, including the rich, the middle class, and the poor. Nearly 60% of average Nigerian income is spent on food. But this average is spread across different segments of society. So we can assume that Nigerians are spending 80 to 90% of their income on food. We can simply assume that most people are spending more on food. If average is 60, most are spending more on food. 80 to 90% of income are spent on food. In the northeast Nigeria, 21% of income is spent on food. So people are practically living to survive. People are practically living to survive. I'm basically saying that if you are coming to the Nigerian market, it's a good market, it's a great market, but please note that it's so critical and so important that you realize that Nigerian market is good, is great, is interesting, but you must be mindful of what you are selling. So that what you are selling is sellable. And one of the ways to know is, do you have people selling it locally? If yes, how much are they selling it? If majority of the salary is spent on food, that means that you cannot afford to sell your product at exorbitant price. Just check out your competitors or related product or similar product and check how much they're selling it, because the big company are struggling. The big company, the big shot are struggling. The big company, big shot are struggling. The implication of that is that you might not be able to assess the market you are targeting, you are thinking of. I'll be talking more about this in the coming days because we're going to be discussing extensively, analyzing different data to just show that, look, be careful how much, what you are bringing into the Nigerian market, analyze the market well, know the people you are trying to reach out to, be sure that if your target is middle and upper class, you have an advantage, but if they are mainly lower class, or they are risky, price sensitivity is very, very high. We are hoping the government is going to do enough to make the situation better. But for now, many people are sending more money on food. The disposable income is near zero. The purchasing power is very low. The per capita income is very low. How much people can spend on other things is very low. Majority of them will only be able to buy food so they can survive and probably shelter. Thank you very much for listening again today. My name is Delayin by this Import Export platform, Facebook Live from Tuesday Academy. I'm having network issue. I need to go now. Bye for now.